Welcome to Free Range Flock. We were once the latchkey kids who came home to an empty house after school. We were feral, resilient, cynical, and innovative. Older than Google. Our teenage faces were never posted on social media. The internet was just an idea in our youth. Now we are older, wiser, and thriving. Our independent ways will continue to serve us. We plan to keep defying the odds, and we will carve our own path. With grace, with humor, with joy. Our way. We've been through some stuff. We will continue to keep pushing, and we are not going anywhere. The former latchkey kids are now the free range flock.
So Sasa, what kinds of things resonate with you right now when it comes to social media? What are you following? What are you clicking?
Oh my gosh. I don't really spend a lot of time on social media these days. I used to spend way too much time, doing the doom scrolling, especially through the pandemic. And I think after that and trying to get back out in the world, it sucks too much of my time, too much of my attention. But I do follow folks on Tumblr and on Instagram.
Okay.
Those are probably my two most active accounts. And I tend to click on things that are art related or subject matter related. So as you know, I play ukulele. And so I follow several ukulele accounts on both of those platforms. I'm really into the show Good Omens, so I follow things that are associated with that. So it tends to be, subject matter more than anything else.
Okay. I'm kind of the same way because I'm busy. I'm a mom and changing jobs, so I don't have as much time. So when I'm there, it's very targeted kind of a thing. I do like the short motivational reels, like a short little 2-3 minute video. You got me. I find right now the person that I'm following the most, her name is Alethea Crimmins, and I apologize if I misspelled your name. She is someone who is always sitting in her car. She's beautiful, bright face, and she always starts it by hitting the lens, just popping the lens to kind of get your attention. And saying things like, stop putting effort in people who don't put it back to you. It's 2 minutes of this fierceness. And it's a good reminder. And prioritize yourself, take care of yourself. And she always ends it with, now go out there and have a good day on purpose. And you're welcome. And it's kind of laughing. And I just love her energy. And it's her reminders are so powerful. And I'm whatever she's selling, I'm buying. She's out. Yeah. I feel very seen by these videos. So it's, if I'm scrolling and I see her somewhere, I stop and look at that. So, and I'll try to remember to put a clip of her on our website so that people can see that. They haven't seen her. She's great. Now, as Free Rangers, we are very active on social media. But what's interesting is that many commercial brands don't really try to connect to us. I was reading this article. It's called Gen X is largely ignored by brands despite being the most loyal consumer group. And it's an article on Campaign Asia. And I'm going to put a link to that on our story on our website. The article stated that Free Rangers make up 31% of the global population. That's a lot. And we are 27% of global spending. And 92% of us are on social media every day. Yet commercial brands are ignoring our age groups. Now, I don't really understand. We have more money to spend than the younger generations. Plus, we're loyal. So once you get us, we stick around. I mean, we are a catch.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So you would want us.
Yeah.
So it got me thinking. Many companies don't know how to celebrate us. So for this episode, we're going to explain to companies, if you want our loyalty, you need to connect and celebrate the Free Rangers.
I would agree with that 100%.
Let's do it.
Yes.
So, Sass, what kind of messages are out there that make you stop and look at it and right now? You mentioned the art and the ukulele. What kinds of things would you stop and read?
Well, if there's dogs involved, I'm always going to stop with like, but I mean, in all seriousness, probably things that are either really positive, like not like cheerleadery positive, but things that tend to have a better spin on life, you know, how to, you know, better yourself or maybe change your viewpoint, or things that are slightly radical, you know. I posted a video yesterday, which actually did have to do with ukulele, but it was an artist by the name of Amanda Palmer. I don't know if you know Amanda Palmer, but she's been around for quite some time. She used to be in a band called the Dresden Dolls. And it's kind of punkish. I mean, it's the attitude that's punk, not necessarily the music itself. But anyway, one of the things that appealed to me about this specific song that I posted was just using art as a form of being radical and just expressing yourself. Like so often, and you and I have talked about this before, we take hobbies and then we monetize them. Well, it's okay to play the ukulele badly and enjoy it, because that in and of itself is being radical, because you're doing it because you love it. And I thought that was just an amazing message. So things like that are like slightly off kilter are things that I typically am drawn to.
Get your attention. Yeah. Okay. I love things that I can see myself, like recognize myself. I like things that are really real. Like if you've got a filter on, I'm not going to stop. Like just be present and be real. Life's too short not to be yourself. Show me the tired mom trying to juggle everything, who lives for comfort shoes or like comfort wear. Oh, that's my girl. That's me. So because I've become so comfortable in who I am that when I see people who are like me, I'm like, I stop. I'm like, there's me. There you go. So, and I think a lot of us are kind of doing that too. Like we're looking for seeing ourselves and feeling seen.
I think that's one of the things that in marketing these days, it's not always successful, but I do think that people are trying to represent a more diverse population.
Yeah.
I know within my own work as a graphic designer, I'm getting that more and more. You know, like let's not just show young and pretty and white. We want to make sure that we're representing a broad spectrum of people, just like our culture.
Right.
And I think that I'm seeing that in more and more brands, which is lovely. But to your call out earlier, I'm not seeing people who are older.
Right.
You know, you see more diversity, but you're not seeing the age diversity that I would like to see.
It still hasn't caught up. Yeah. When you make your generation feel seen, they notice and they pay attention and they pull out their credit cards.
Yes.
So that's when I start to see. For example, L'Oreal Paris created a new product called Age Perfect Rosy Oil Serum. I've never used it, so I can't endorse it. But they asked 10 different influencers. So those are people that are social media and have lots of people watching, and they go to influence people. So they approached 10 people over the age of 45 to use and mention their product. And these influencers created videos using the product and posted them online. And so what's lovely is it wasn't women who were in their 20s using the product. Instead, it was the generation of people who were actually going to use the product.
Right.
And their engagement went up 450%.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and that's a lot. And so that's the magic we bring when you connect to us. When we see ourselves out there and you're selling it to us and, you know, make that connection, we notice. And it's not one of these lots of fancy ads. I'm sure you've seen ads. You're like, that's really pretty. I don't know what the heck they're selling, but it was really pretty. It's not that. It's just kind of the very real, and it shows people using your product in a very real way. Like you see actually taking them out of the package and, you know, figuring it out. So that's a connection for us. And we are really big. Our generation's big into that emotional resonance. You know, that really connecting with us in a genuine way. So what kinds of things connect with you right now, Sass?
Oh, like when I want to buy something?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's a great question. And I think part of when I buy something, I am looking at its social impact. What is the company? How are they testing the product? How are they, you know, manufacturing the product? Sometimes I make better decisions than others just because sometimes it's about cost.
Right,
You're looking at, you know, this one costs $50, this one costs $30, and sometimes I'm going to go for the $30 one.
Yeah.
But I think it's also I'm looking for people like me to use the product. So like
Yeah.
when I'm looking at Amazon reviews, I'm looking for people like me. You know, now they put the demographics for
that's
for
so
like
lovely.
tested people, so that you know, okay, that person's me basically. So they liked this product, so I might like it too.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that honesty and that transparency. Don't hide your agenda to me. So have you ever been to a website where it'll say like shop now or learn more, and you'll click on it and it goes to this website that is completely confusing, and you're like, just tell me how much it costs.
Exactly.
And you literally have to like go through all this maze of stuff.
Drives me nuts.
Or watch those, and I call them like teaser videos. Where like, we'll tell you about the product in a moment, but listen to me for 10 minutes and like they'll kind of hint that, you know, it's coming. No, 2 minutes in, I'm out. If you have to hide who you are, then I'm not going to trust you.
Agreed 100%. I mean, literally, if I have to make more than one click once I go to your website, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Do not do that to me.
Yeah. You could be selling the best thing on the planet and I'm not going to buy it because the fact that you've made me work so hard to get to the message and to the store to buy it means that you're hiding something.
Transparency to me is so important.
Yes.
And just make it easy for me to navigate to your site and give me the information that I'm looking for. That's huge to me.
And so we've kind of talked about this already, but like we talked about that example of trying to find the message, but what other things are not connecting with you? Like what's just not working?
Well, I think a lot of times too, forgetting about us, you know, like we mentioned this earlier in the episode, but it's just like when you click into a website and all you see are skinny people who are 20 years old. And I know that product is probably not for me.
Right.
Because you're not showing anybody on this site that looks like me.
Right.
So that's a huge one for me. Just that's a turnoff. I want to see people who are curvy and have wrinkles and gray hair and, you know, not just that, but at the same time, don't forget that I exist.
And how easy that is. I mean, just you don't have to go out there and make a fancy commercial. You can literally say, let's give our product away to these people who look like our customers and have them like L'Oreal did. So you can do that and, you know, get a lot of bang for your buck.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you mentioned influencers earlier, and really that's what an influencer does, is they work with companies to try out products and help them promote it.
Right.
I mean, I think anyone who's media savvy understands that. But at the same time, I'm much more likely to buy a product if the person who's trying to sell it to me looks like me and is having similar problems that I'm trying to solve. So influencers aren't bad, but you need to make sure that you're following influencers that fit your own demographic too.
Definitely. For me, I like nostalgia to a point. Like, don't beat it over my head. We are hearing our music, you know, being pumped through the grocery stores now. Like, I'm like, how is that happening?
It's now considered oldies, Amy.
I know. But then you see people like really take it too far, like use nostalgia too far. And just nostalgia to me, you know, brings us back to a common place, but then go forward. Keep going.
Yeah. And the using that nostalgia to your point, almost misuse of it.
Yeah.
Like an example would be the other day I heard a commercial using The Clash. Now, I don't know if y'all are Clash fans, but I am. And they were basically a punk band. You know, they're being commercialized. It just felt weird to me.
Yeah.
You know, certain bands you just shouldn't.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Some of them are sacred, so you got to be really careful.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, I'm a huge U2 fan, and if you use like Streets to sell like Preparation H or something like that, I will never buy your product ever again. So just be really careful because some of them are, you know, But I don't know if you notice, it's happening a lot on Netflix, is that, and other streaming platforms, not just Netflix, are starting to like bring back 80s TV shows. They're rebooting them. And some of that is almost too nostalgic. It's too much. So like, you know, like I never watched this show, but like Full House is coming back.
What?
It came back.
I remember the show, but they're rebooting it?
Yeah, and some of them are kind of like considering coming back, and I'm like, y'all, are you really out of ideas? I mean, you're really doing that. You just got to be really purposeful and think about how you're doing it. And I'm going to bring up a show that my son and I are actually actively watching. It's called Cobra Kai. Did you ever see Karate Kid?
Oh, yeah.
So Karate Kid had 3 movies. I don't think I've watched 2 and 3, so I need to get on that. But
I've seen 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3.
Yeah. No, I think I have seen 2. That's the one where he went to Japan, right? Cobra Kai is the other practice that yoga, the dojo, that he fought against and won against. So. To me, this show is really interesting because when my son begged us to watch it, I was like, you remember Karate Kid was about this one kid, little kid got beat up all the time and like this hero story. And to me, it was like, it's very sweet, it was very 80s and it was very black and white. You know, this kid's a bully, of course he's going to lose, and this kid's the hero and he's going to win. What's interesting about this show is that they really mixed it up and made them more complicated. So like, Ralph Macchio's character Daniel is a bit of an asshole. Like he all that kind of went to his head, and he was just like, "Yeah, this is the way we have to do it." And then the guy who was his bully is actually more complicated. It turns out that he was being bullied, and whatever. And so that was smartly done. Like they really kind of turned it on its head and said, "Let's make them a bit more rich and complex characters." There's still a lot of karate. I mean, and then they have flashes to the movie and stuff. But to me, that's a bit more. Have the nostalgia, but tell something different. Like, let's go down the road. Let's not hover in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah, get us there for the so yeah, I liked that a lot. That to me was smartly done. So one more question, Sass, and
sure.
What kind of suggestions would you share to companies about how to connect to free rangers? Like, what's their big takeaway here?
Don't forget about us.
Yeah.
Don't treat us like we're old. I think is a big one, because even though we're aging, I don't think any of us consider ourselves to be old yet. I mean, we're advancing in age.
Yeah.
We're maturing like fine wine, but we're not old. And I think that's a fine line to tread.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have that message. And also just be realistic with your claims and represent us well.
Right.
Make sure that we're being seen as a consumer. Because like you said, we have a lot of money to spend.
We do. And when we do, we stick around. Like I've used the same toothpaste for like 45 years.
Have you really?
I have.
Wow.
Yeah, even down to the flavor, girl. So So once I'm there, I like it. I'm going to stay with it. But for me, I think when a generation falls in love with a product, they stay for the long haul. So that's important. So I find I really like loyalty programs. Like if I shop somewhere and they're like, "Hey, do you have an account with us?" And they say, "Hey, we're going to take $5 off since you're so loyal." Recognize that I'm coming in, and the fact that even that little $5, it goes a long way. I'm like, you track that, and that's lovely.
Yeah.
So I like that, but don't make it complicated. Don't make it complicated.
I would agree. And while I like subscription programs, don't make everything a subscription.
Oh my gosh, no.
Because there's sometimes I just want to buy the damn thing.
Yes.
I don't want to buy it every month. I was on a subscription program for a while for razor blades. And it was great. But then it's like, you're sending me razor blades every month, and I don't need razor blades every month.
How much hair do you think I got? Come on.
So, I mean, think about subscription programs.
Yeah.
Make them flexible. Make them so you can flow in and out easily. Don't make it a hard process.
Yeah. Like my mom asked for this product as a skincare product, and I'm not going to mention them. To get a good price, then their good price was for the whole set was like $79. You had to buy it. You had to commit to every 3 months of them sending a whole new product. I'm like, dang. But to buy it individually was like over $100. I'm like, no, you're overcharging, and I'm not. Stop with the subscription madness. Let's be realistic.
Exactly.
Here.
Just let me buy the thing I want to buy.
We also don't trust things that don't feel authentic. Recognize their individuality. I do like the approach of using the influencers that look like us. And lots think about diversity, lots of different kinds of influencers. And then we also love it when you talk about being responsible. Like, climate change is a big deal right now. Talk about that in some form or fashion. So we really love that.
Oh, definitely. And I think that last one, companies need to be more transparent about how they create their products, how they test their products, what happens to those products when they're no longer useful. Can you recycle them?
Yeah.
Those are all super important to people who are our age and younger.
Right.
I don't think they were as important to our parents. Some people, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that people weren't socially responsible before our generation, but I think it's becoming more and more important as our climate change is becoming more and more apparent,
right?
And how important it is that we take care of our planet,
right? And one final thing is, I'm looking at Sarah and I are both wearing glasses, and I go to the eye doctor to get new glasses all the time, and that fine print on your small little product, help me out. Help me out, okay? Please make sure people can see and read your product. We both did this recently, so I'm going to bring it up. I raced into a local store. Again, I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to promote them unless they want to sponsor me. Hey, I was buying foundation base for my face, and I don't buy this a lot, so I buy it a couple times a year. And I try to buy the same brand and the same shade, and I raced in, and the packaging had changed, and I couldn't find what they called the shade. But I was just like, oh, I'm sure this is it. I got home, and it was the darkest orange you've ever seen. And I realized that they changed the packaging, and I thought they put a flower on it, and no, the flower was the shade. They were trying to help me out, but I couldn't read it. I could not find the words, and so I just had to well, it looks right. Help us out. Help us out.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. And again, same thing happened to me, not with the shade, but was the formulation. So I use a powder foundation, big name. Y'all have probably heard of it, but I'm not going to advertise them either.
Exactly.
And there's a matte version, and then there's an original version. The original version has mica in it. Well, I use the matte shade, or the matte formulation, and I picked up the original. So I brought it home, and I put it on for the next day to go to work, and it made my face so shiny. And it just accented all the little fine lines and imperfections in my skin. Don't do that to us. Make it in big letters so that you can see that this is the right formulation that you're picking up off the shelf. Just think about who your audience is, for heaven's sake.
Thank you. So I think we've given some companies some really big takeaways here. So I heard, that we are very loyal. We're buying a lot of things, and once we fall in love with your product, we stay. So honor that loyalty. We like honesty and transparency. We like the print to be a size that we can actually read and don't hide stuff. Yes. Any other big takeaways, Sass?
Well, a silly one. When you said the print, it made me think of the other issue I have with packaging, which is make it so I can get into the damn package.
Yeah, don't make me have to research how to open your package.
I mean, less packaging is good, y'all.
Yeah.
Just make it simple. But no, those are all really good things. I think that companies in general just need to remember that they're not just selling to one demographic. They're selling to multiple demographics typically.
Right.
So don't just focus on the young and the pretty.
And definitely talk more. We like this. When we talk more about your social responsibility, like what are you doing? How is your thing made? How is it the packaging made? What are you doing for the community and the environment? We really want you to talk about that in a clear way on your websites.
Definitely. And I think that we should probably link some of our favorite sites, in the show notes to give people a heads up of where they can check things out, like who has socially responsible packaging, who has vegan products. For me, that's a big thing for cosmetics. Are you making sure they're not testing on animals? So things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're not following us on social media, you should find us on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Facebook. And tell us some of your favorite companies. Who are you loyal to? Who do you think is speaking to the Free Rangers? We'd love to have that conversation. So thanks for listening, y'all. Thank you for joining us for Free Range Flock. Our goal is to inspire and celebrate who we are, the Generation X kids who grew up and decided to do things their way, with grace, humor, and joy. This has been a production of Sassy Am. If you want to learn more about our podcast, follow our blog, share your positive insights about being a free ranger, or to suggest topics or guests for future episodes, please visit our website at sassyam.com. That's SASSAYAM.com. Keep pushing.